Do you see any opportunities, I guess, at the moment? I noticed you've got a lot more esports content at the moment. Do you see any opportunities in that space as well going forward?
Absolutely. And look, with everyone that's going through a tough time at the moment with everything that's going on, and this is not only an Australian issue, but a global issue, people are at home. Some of them are struggling, some of them are bored. Mental health is obviously a big issue, and being able to provide some information to people that perhaps may not have thought about esports or racing. We've naturally had to pivot as a business. We realized that, there's not going to be any AFL or cricket or rugby or whatever it might be for the next couple of months. So how can we still get people, again, working with our partners, to be going and playing a racing tournament at Sports Champs, or going and playing the Greyhound contest at Draft Stars, or playing an esports contest at DraftKings? And by us providing some basic tips, a little bit of strategy, a bit of a how-to guide, those sorts of things, we can then help people go and play those sports that, that morning may not have had any idea. And I can speak from my own personal opinion that, or personal experience that, when we first talked about this, our head of content, Luke, said, look, I'm just going to dive into everything with esports and be able to put articles out every day. I've got a few contacts, and we made it happen. And I'd never watched League of Legends in my life. I'd never done anything. And then I started playing a few of the contests on DraftKings as well. So
Yeah.
the learning curve was incredibly steep, but having a few things just telling you what the positions were, or how the relationships work, or where the scoring is, or teams that you should be avoiding or not looking at, or, having more of, et cetera, et cetera. We look to provide that content. On the same token with racing as well, there's many people that perhaps are not horse punters naturally, but there's now racing tournaments at Draft Stars, both greyhounds
Right.
and horses. There's racing contests at Sport Champs. So if we can provide a couple of tips for someone to go and find a few winners during the day, which might help them win a tournament, that's exactly what we're going to do. Don't get me wrong, we are absolutely frothing for AFL to come back. AFL is the biggest sport in Australia by far. It's the biggest time for us. It's the most content that we do. We hope that it's going to come back in June. Our partners hope that it's going to come back in June, and everyone sitting at home is hoping that it's going to come back in June. But whether it's June, July, August, whatever it might be, we'll just keep, doing what we're doing, and hopefully, continue to provide really great content. And then when AFL starts, we'll start the machine back up and keep distributing that content as well.
Right, excellent. And I was just going to allude to, so when you do have a relative downtime in sport, whether it's for the change of seasons, or whether it's because of times like these that are obviously unprecedented, what is the focus becoming in times like that?
On a business level, it's always to make sure that our partners are happy.
Right.
As long as there is sport coming or sport going on in some fashion, making sure that we're working with our partners to be able to provide information and resources so people can play. There really isn't a lot of downtime in Australia, and being a business that's pivoted in multiple directions over the years, we go straight out of AFL season, straight into Spring Carnival, straight into Big Bash.
Yeah.
This year, it was then straight into Women's World Cup cricket,
Yeah.
straight into AFLW or AFL preseason, then straight into AFL, and it starts again.
Mm.
Then you mix in things like NRL and golf and all sorts of things that we cover, tennis, things like that. There isn't a lot of downtime. So as much as it's nice to have a little bit of a break at the moment, we're still pretty much running at 60%, you know what I mean?
Right.
50%, somewhere in that ballpark. So there's always things to do. We're also looking at some fun things as well. So on social media, you would have noticed this week we're doing a chicken nugget eating contest on
Notice that.
Thursday night, trying to raise some money for the Good Friday appeal. And a couple of the guys, Clinton from DraftKings and Parks from Draft Stars, put their hand up straight away and said, we'll sacrifice our stomachs for a night and try to raise a little bit of money. And look, we did a weigh-in, a bit of a fun video show the other night, and we'll live stream it all on Thursday night on our Facebook channel. And,
Nice.
running a few polls and doing a few articles. And again, it's not really hardcore DFS, but it's a way, again, to engage the community and just have a little bit of fun in this time where, people are a bit stressed out and, need a little bit of lighthearted, relief. So there's always things to do, and we're always thinking of new initiatives of ways that we can engage with our community above and beyond DFS. But the core of our business is providing content and helping people win money. That's what it's all about. We're trying to help people win more money and get better at DFS.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to check out more of our content, go to sporttechdaily.com or follow us on social media across Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram.